on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band reviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I will be posting a bunch of interviews along with this album review. If you haven't checked out Acidia's new EP, I highly recommend it. Just did that yesterday, so make sure to peep that. If you like this band, I feel like you'll like Acidia. As well as I'm going to see 4 Year Strongs today, as well as Self Help Fest on Sunday. So I'm really excited for both of those shows coming up, and then Picturesque I think is the following week, which I'm really stoked on as well. So those are the things that we got coming up. So definitely check back with the channel for more videos, either live videos, interviews, etc. So make sure to subscribe, make sure to hit that thumbs up. It really does go a long way, and thank you guys for your support. So tonight we're going to be talking about Novelist's new record, Noir. So, for those of you who haven't heard of this band, they are a progressive metalcore band out of France. I've been following them for quite a while. I actually found out about their music I think it was on either It Gents or even Dreambound more recently. But they've been and maybe Beheading the Traitor. I know that was another one that they may have had it on. But besides the point, been following this band for a while. I really loved Souvenir, so I was curious how they were going to follow up this record with this one, Noir. And when they said that they were announcing this new record and also that they signed with Sharp Tones, I couldn't be more ecstatic on this, and definitely was an album I was looking forward to all year round. I had a feeling that they were working on new music, and obviously by some of the posts earlier on that they had something going on in the works. So I want to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, and then I'm going to give some pros and cons on the record, and then I'm going to give it an overall rating. I want to first apologize for my attempts at French. I am not French by any means, so if I do offend anybody from France, I'm sorry. I am not really good at English either, so I'm going to hope that I can do this pretty well. So the first track is L'Appel du Vide. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. But this one's one of my favorite tracks off the record. Really has this cool sort of distant reverby intro. And just the inclusion of piano that they added in this track just adds another element to the Novelist sound, in my opinion. There are a few other tracks that include piano, so that's always a cool little just additive and makes it really interesting, in my opinion. Also, I'm a really huge fan of Matt's vocals, whether it be cleans and screams. I think he kills it on both ends, and I would absolutely say that this track utilizes both his vocal stylings very well, and the vocal layering is just really accentuates what he does best in this track, in my opinion. Really liking the vocal switch up between screams and cleans in the second verse. I thought it was really interesting and really cool. I know a lot of bands do that, but to me, I felt like it was just so fluid, and it felt just right in a lot of these tracks, more specifically in this one. It has great balance to it. It has some great melody and heaviness to it, and they just really work very well in tandem together. So in my opinion, this one is one of the best tracks off the record, and I definitely feel like it's a great opener to this record. So we're going to move into track number 2, which is Monochrome. This one is another favorite of mine for a whole host of other reasons. Really liking the sort of slower feeling of this track. I think it's really cool to kind of counterbalance the first track that I was speaking about in just a minute ago. But it really plays off the more melodic side of what Novelist is known for. I really feel like they stepped up a notch in terms of just song structure and the way they go about sort of the different stylings that they do. I felt like in Souvenirs they did a really great job, but to me, this album feels like a step up from that. I just like that this track accents Matt's vocals very well, more specifically cleans. I don't think there's hardly any screams on this track, if any. It's more clean based, but I definitely enjoy it. Really like this sort of hints of slide guitar throughout this track. I thought it was kind of a cool little, like, I don't know, it just felt really cool. Me being a guitar player, that's something that I definitely notice a lot of. But it was just really damn cool and really just something interesting that I enjoyed. There's a saxophone solo between the 1 minute and 45 second mark to the 2 minutes and 11 mark, which I thought came out of absolute nowhere, which I thought was really cool. And I feel like a lot of people will enjoy that song for that reason alone. There's this really great guitar solo a little bit later on at 2 minutes and 48 seconds, and it lasts to about 3 minutes and 15 seconds. I really enjoyed a lot of the guitar solos that were mixed throughout these tracks. I feel like it really accentuates their lead guitar player in the best way possible. And this one just hits on all cylinders, in my opinion. It's really got this really cool melodic feel to it. Just the saxophone added just another layer to into this song, in my opinion. And it also makes a second appearance around the 3 minutes and 45 second mark till the end of the track. But I thought it was beautifully arranged and definitely is one of my favorite tracks of all time from them. It just really hits Matt's vocals to a T, in my opinion. There's a few other tracks off this record that will kind of just, in my opinion, blow your mind. I'm probably speaking that on my own terms, but I would hope that you have the same sorts of feelings. So we're gonna move into track number 3, which is Under Different Welkins. This was one of the first couple singles. I think the first one was The Light the Fire, and then shortly after that this one was released. But it's definitely one of my favorites as well. I would say that it more closely resembles their older material, Souvenirs. There is another track that they just released like yesterday or today, actually. Actually yesterday, that they released. And I would feel that those tracks are the most souvenir-esque throughout the record. I really love the little guitar solo around the 1 minute and 45 second mark to the 2 minutes and 5 second mark. I just really love the guitar riffs on this track. I think that they come up with a really unique way of having some more melodic parts in tracks, but also really rhythmic bass, really just sort of genty-esque vibes to the way that they write the music. And it just shows it has this really great sort of smoothness to it, but again, it's also really rhythmic as well. Liking the sort of ambient leads to back up, like I was mentioning, the rhythmic sort of rhythm guitar, which kind of adds another level to this track, in my opinion. And I'm really loving that ending breakdown to the end of the track. They absolutely crushed the ending on this one, and I really enjoyed the guitar playthrough of this track. I felt like it's just, I mean, they are, I mean, obviously the guitar is an important part of these tracks, but to just kind of see it played out and how, how it's written and how it's structured, I feel like it's a good way to get that sort of feeling from these tracks. All right, so we'll move into track number 4, which is Les Newt's no arts. I don't know. No, sorry, so bad. But I'm loving this sort of ominous sort of intro with the glitched out guitars and the drums at the beginning. This one is definitely one of the more heavier tracks off the record, and I would also say it's one of the more straightforward tracks. It really doesn't have too much going on in terms of like just something out of the blue. Like the first 3 tracks are just kind of like a shocker, in my opinion. This one kind of reins it in a little bit more and is a little bit less aggressive in terms of just like a lot of sonic differences. I would say this one is fairly straightforward. It's very rhythmic based. It's very genty-esque. I feel like this one is more of a drum and scream centric track. Really liking the chorus a lot. The layered vocals paired very well with each other. And this one just felt like a little bit lackluster, in my opinion. I still think it's a solid track. It's one of those go-to heavy tracks, in my opinion, off the record. But to me, it wasn't one that grabbed me, and I would say that it was probably one of the far and few tracks that didn't really grab me. But this one, a solid heavy track if you enjoy that side of Novelist. I feel like they really did a good one on this one. So we're going to move into track number 5, which is Gray Souls. This one is one of my favorites as well. It is definitely in the same vein as track number 4, Les Noirs. But this one starts off right off the bat. You immediately get just absolutely punched in the face in this track. It's definitely one of the more heavier tracks, like I mentioned previously. The guitar riffs are just super bouncy and rhythmic bass, obviously. but I would say that the chorus is an absolute highlight for me in this track. It's super catchy, and the melody will absolutely get stuck in your head. I know it got stuck in my head, and I've listened to this album probably a good like 20 or 30 times now. Really enjoyed the breakdown at the 2 minute mark to the 2 minutes and 30-second mark. I think it really goes in, and the vocals from Matt are just A1 on this track. I really think that he does an awesome job with the cleans in this track, but his screams are just so meaty, and I love it. So one of my favorite tracks off the record. So we'll move into track number 6, which is A Bitter End. This was one of the singles that they released pretty recently, along with Lead the Light. But this one is one of the heavier tracks. I would also say it's a favorite of mine as well. Has this sort of dissonant, sort of just heavy vibe to it, much like Gray Souls and Les Newt's Noirs. I hope I said that right. But I felt like this one was really great just because of that sort of darker undertone in this one. The layered cleans in the pre-chorus were really sick. Kind of almost like a I wouldn't say a chant, but almost like a group vocal, gang vocals sort of a thing going on with that, but just with Matt, which I thought was really interesting. The chorus was super solid in this one. And like I mentioned, definitely amongst the heavier tracks. If you have listened to the singles, I would say that this one is one of the heavier tracks off the records. Matt's cleans were super ear catching in my opinion in this track, but the screams were equally as good, and then just had this ferocity to them that works really well with this track. And I thought the breakdown at the 3 minutes and 32-second mark to the 4 minute mark was absolutely killer. And it was definitely one of those tracks that just has that sort of heaviness that you're expecting from them, but there's also great tracks that have that sort of melodic vibe to them as well. So we're gonna move into track number 7, which is Stranger Self, and this features Matt Yokohama from Deceiver. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm liking the vocal trade-off in the first verse of this track, which is really interesting as well. I thought this was a really solid chorus in this track, and the piano is utilized yet again on this track, on this album I should say. And I would say that Matt's sort of guest spot starts at around the 1 minute and 43-second mark to the 2 minutes and 24-second mark, and I just like how Matt from Novelist kind of echoes him in this track. I thought that was really cool, and it's definitely a longer feature on this record. I wouldn't say it's the longest one, because there is a track that you can evidently see that is much longer, but this one was really great. I thought the balance of that, I thought the rap sort of lines were really interesting as well. You don't hear that too often, so I thought that was a cool kind of switch up in their regard. Really interesting track in general, but I think all of the elements kind of came together and worked very well. Again, it's kind of straightforward, but really well done. If you've listened to the Deceivers, Matt Yokohama's band, I wouldn't say it's too far off from what they do. So I really thought it was a cool kind of playoff from them, which is really cool because I think Matt did a feature, or Matt from Novelist did a feature on Deceiver, one of Deceiver's tracks off their album. So it's a cool kind of balance, and I thought that was an interesting note for you guys to hear. So we'll move into track number 8, which is The Light the Fire. This was the first single that they released, and I would say that this one is a really solid one right off the bat. It features mostly cleans with kind of spurts of screams. I think the intro has this sort of like acousticy sort of guitar intro to it. I thought that was really cool. But I would say that this track is one of the more mellower tracks off the record, but it does have some moments of heavy mixed in throughout the track. I would say that again, this track highlights a lot of Matt's clean vocals, especially in the chorus with those sort of longer sort of runs and melodic lines. I feel like he just lends himself very well into this one. I'm liking the sort of ambient leads in the track, especially in the sort of more melodic moments in the track. I feel like it kind of is more accentuated, and it definitely brings a lot of the good sort of elements out in this one. So we're going to move into track number 9, which is Joe de Vivrier. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. But the next, and it features Jesse Cash of Era. I think there's another guest spot on here. I really honestly don't know who it is. I just have no clue. I knew 100% it was Jesse Cash because that sort of his vocals are just kind of like iconic in my opinion. But getting back to the track, like I mentioned, I'm pretty sure there's another vocal feature. Whoever he is, if somebody can let me know in the comments. I love his voice. I thought it was really great. And I thought it was cool to have two different guest features. I feel like Matt kind of takes a backseat, but it's okay though. I would say that Jesse handles a lot of the sort of core handles all the choruses, and then their other sort of guest spot does the verses. Except for the second verse, Matt does a screamed second verse, which I thought was cool. But at first, I thought, listening to the record, I thought this track was a little bit odd to me. I thought that, it really kind of exemplifies a lot of the guest vocals that they have on this track, as opposed to Matt, which I feel like he should have a little bit more of a spotlight. So to me, I felt like that was a little odd. Also, another kind of gripe that I have about this track is that Matt has some really great cleans, as if I hadn't been evident enough about that on this review. But to me, I felt like he could have added some harmonies, he could have added some cool little like runs throughout the track that would have made it just a little bit more interesting in my opinion. I would have loved to hear him pair up with Jesse, or hear him pair up with the other guest vocalists that they have. I feel like both of their voices mesh very well with what Matt does on the clean side. So to me, I felt like that was kind of a missing element of this track, but otherwise, vocally really solid on both ends, being the two guest spots and Matt screaming wise. I also feel like the instrumentals were really solid on this one as well. So we're gonna move into track number 10, which is Lead the Light. As I mentioned, this was the most recent single as of yesterday, but is easily one of the best tracks off the record. Just from vocals and instrumentals, they're just perfect in my opinion. It really kind of exemplifies what Novelist is doing and what they've done. It really kind of pairs the best of what Noir is and also what the best of Souvenirs is. So to me, I really kind of think that they came together. It really was the one of the most cohesive tracks off the record. There's great parts of screams and cleans, and also harmony parts as well. But there's places where they need screams, and there's parts where they don't need screams, and there's parts where they need cleans, and there's parts where they don't need cleans. And I felt like everything was kind of arranged super well, where where you wanted those sort of more aggressive vocals, and then you wanted some of those more melodic parts, which fit very well with what Matt does on both ends. But the balance in this track is just super well constructed, and I would say that the solo at the 2 minutes and 55-second mark to 3 minutes and 17-second mark is one of the best guitar solos throughout this record. I would say that maybe the last track has the best guitar solo, but I think they're both really solid, and I really can't choose between those two. So we're gonna move into track number 11, which is A Travers Le Morar. Sorry guys, I feel bad for like completely butchering French language because I think it's a beautiful language. So I was completely sorry about that. But getting back with this track, this one is one of my favorites. I would say that is one of the black sheep tracks off the record. It is completely off the beaten path a little bit. I would say that they definitely took a more melodic stance on this one, much like The Light and the Fire. But I feel like they did it in just a really great way. Also monochrome, but they took it in a different spin. I love the sort of cool synthy ethereal vibes of this track, especially in the intro. But I would say that this one has a change of pace, but it just has a beautiful melodic quality to it, much like Monochrome, that I really endear and love about Novelists. So I feel like they really did an awesome job with this one. Really great guitar riffs, backed up by really great sort of punchy drums that cut through a lot of the sort of, I don't know, melodic parts of the track to kind of be at the forefront of this one. Also, I feel like it highlights more of Matt's sort of higher, sort of softer and falsetto-y sort of vocals, which is really great. I also feel like there's a guitar guest solo at the 2 minutes and 40 second mark to the 3 minutes and 10 second mark. I personally think it's Nick Johnston. It kind of sounds like his style and the way he does stuff. I could be wrong, but if somebody knows, even if Novelist knows, let me know that his guitar solo was sick. But I feel like they ended the track off really well on a full band sort of spectrum, which was really great as well. And it kind of rounds out this track, in my opinion. Again, it was much like Monochrome, in which I endear the sort of melodic qualities of it, but I really feel like they finished it out on a high note with that sort of just grandeur of the sort of heavy guitars and just the vocals of Matt. I feel like, and the drums, everything instrumentally based. I feel like it just fit very well with this one. So we're gonna move into the last track, track number 12, which is "Heal the Wound." Is absolutely one of my favorites, and I feel like they ended the album on a bang. First of all, and saved the best for last, in my opinion. The guitar riffs on this track are just A1 steak sauce. Love them so much. Much like Lead the Light, I feel like it combines really great elements of Novelist throughout the years, and I feel like they really came out really strong on this track. And it just has elements that I love about this band, just the sort of melodic qualities and the sort of heavier qualities. But I'm not going to repeat it. If you could rewind, obviously, you can check what I said about that, but I would say that the chorus is an absolute banger. Just those melodies and the hooks in this track are just super infectious, in my opinion. I feel like this track just has great balance to it, much like Lead the Light, with the sort of melodic qualities and the sort of heavier qualities is just balanced out very well. Really enjoying the sort of echoes and melodies at the 4 minutes and 5 second mark to the 4 minutes and 22 second mark. Just like that sort of like back and forth of the cleans. It felt very natural, and just the sort of runs that he does were just ear candy to me. And I love that sort of monstrous solo at the end at 4 minutes and 25 seconds, all the way to the end of the track. I really feel like they killed it on that one. And just a great way to end off a masterpiece of a record, in my opinion. I love this album from start to finish. I know I can listen to it from start to finish. So that's always a good sign, in my opinion. So, some pros. I really feel like they accented what they do best. I would say I wouldn't say it took them long to get to that point. They do have some gaps here and there, but overall, I feel like even the gap sort of tracks, the tracks that I wasn't feeling too much, I still think they were great tracks overall. So, to me, I feel like they experimented a lot more with this one. Again, they had a freaking saxophone sonist on Monochrome. They had some great features from Matt from Deceiver, Jesse Cash of Era. Which really accented what they do well, and they really kind of mesh very well with each other. Also, I still want to know that vocalist from track number 9. Let me know. But really enjoy this track album. It's got some really great riffs to it. It's got some great drumming to it, and just vocally, it's great on both ends. I think that Matt is definitely amongst some of my favorite vocalists of all time. He's got amazing cleans, and he's got really great screams to back it up. And I hope that inevitably they'll come out to the U.S. because I will be one of the first people to see them. I hope, because they need to come to America. But anyway, definitely pick up this record if you get the chance to. I am absolutely in love with this band. I've been a fan of their band for a really long time, so this has been a long time coming for me, and I was super excited that it kind of beat my expectations on it. I didn't honestly know how they were going to follow up Souvenirs, and to me, I felt like they did an amazing job kind of following this up. I know a lot of people might not agree with me, or maybe people will agree with me, but I really feel like they took it to the next level, and they didn't kind of do Souvenirs 2.0. They really did something different, and I felt like it showed, and it definitely shows in a lot in my rating, which I'll get into right now. So my rating for Novelist Noir record, I'm going to be giving it a 9.7 out of 10. It's absolutely one of the top contenders for album of the year for me. It just blew me out of the water, and this band is definitely on the rise. They are on Sharp Tone, which I think is one of the up and coming record labels out so far. So if you stuck it out for a whole 25 minutes of me rambling on, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy it, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what your favorite track is off the record. I can speak English, hopefully, and let me know what you think about it. Do you disagree with me? Do you like it? Definitely let me know. I'd love to have a conversation about this record. And Novelist, thank you for putting out an awesome record. I am super excited for my pre-order to come in from you guys. So definitely excited to get that in hand and really own that in my CD collection, which you can't see because it's off camera, but I'm glad to add this to the collection for sure. So also, if you enjoy what you'd like see here, we have a merch store. There is a link in the description if you'd like to purchase something and help me out. That'd be greatly appreciated. And I can't thank you guys enough for checking out this review. It's a whole 25 plus minutes. So thank you for watching my rambling review of Novelist Noir. We'll have some new album reviews coming to you really soon. So my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Peace. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.